Thank you for joining us. This is our routine Thursday weekly briefing for Central North Carolina. We're going to look at the period starting today through next Wednesday, August 19th. Got a couple things to talk about here today. Let's take a look at the upcoming weather pattern ahead. Today through Saturday and really into the first part of Sunday are going to be a relatively unsettled pattern where we see the typical summertime weather, showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon into the evening hours. Really for the next 72 hours is when we're going to see kind of elevated storm chances across the area. There will actually be a slight decrease in storm chances Sunday through the early part of next week. We'll get a little bit of drier air moving into the area. Don't be mistaken here. We're not talking about low dew points where it's comfortable outside. It's still going to be pretty hot and humid out there, but a slight drying trend nonetheless. But we will see a return of rain chances by the time we get to the middle part of next week. So it's a brief period of relief. But showers and thunderstorms are never too terribly far away during the summer months, and that's no different this week. What we are going to be looking at, though, the main hazards over the next week are going to be locally heavy rain, brief periods of gusty winds, lightning, the typical hazards that you see this time of year. And I'll touch on this here briefly at the end. There is some activity in the tropics. We just had another tropical storm named earlier this morning. But fortunately for Central North Carolina, there's nothing in the cards at this point that would suggest it's going to affect our weather here. Let's take a look at severe thunderstorm potential for today, tomorrow, and Saturday. You can see this light shade of green area wide here across the mid-Atlantic and the southeast U.S. We're not expecting any organized severe weather. There will be showers and thunderstorms around, but we're not expecting anything, widespread severe, widespread damaging winds, tornadoes, large hail, anything like that. Now, that being said, if you do happen to get trapped under one of these storms, the usual list of hazards apply: gusty winds, lightning, locally heavy rain. And speaking of heavy rain, taking a look at the accumulated rainfall totals for the next 7 days, you can see on here any given day, you don't really see a whole lot of heavy rain. But by the time we get to the middle of next week, looking back at the previous 7 days, we'll probably end up seeing 1 to 3 inches area wide. In typical summer fashion, it's going to be really hit or miss. So you're probably not going to get that 1 to 3 inches. You could get it in a very short amount of time and then have 5 or 6 straight days of nothing. But again, I think most of this rain is going to fall over the next 72 hours. We'll get a little bit of a break Sunday into Monday. And then you can see there Tuesday, Wednesday, like I said, it's never too terribly far away this time of year. We get a little bit more rainfall coming back into the area by the middle of next week. But again, area-wide, rainfall totals 1 to 3 inches are likely. Let's take a look at the excessive rainfall outlook. These are some new graphics we've put in here. The Weather Prediction Center has been putting out these excessive rainfall outlooks for quite a while, but these graphics here are zoomed in a little bit more and are a little bit more North Carolina centric. For today, tomorrow, and Saturday, we're looking at least a marginal risk of excessive rainfall. Areas up along the Virginia, North Carolina border have a little bit better chance of excessive rainfall today. Then it relaxes a little bit Friday, and then as you start to look into Saturday there, we're going to have a weak front that comes into the area, and it's going to slowly move through the area. It might even get hung up near the Triad. And you can see that the northwest Piedmont up toward Roanoke and up Interstate 81 up along the mountains, that area stands the best chance to see some excessive rainfall during the day Saturday. Let's take a look at the tropics here. I had made mention a couple minutes ago that we have a newly formed tropical storm out in the Atlantic, and Tropical Storm Josephine was born at 11 a.m. This morning. It's got 45 mile an hour winds. It is a long way away from land. And the forecast for Josephine is to remain as a tropical storm for the next few days. But as it continues to move to the west, it's going to encounter some pretty unfavorable conditions, some drier air, some shear, and these are not conditions that are typically conducive for tropical storm development or maintenance or anything like that. And on top of that, the forecast is for Josephine to curve away from the U.S. and stay out over the ocean. So we are not expecting any sort of threat across central North Carolina associated with Josephine. So, 'tis the season. The tropics are active, and we're starting to approach the busiest, the peak of the hurricane season. So, be sure to keep abreast of what's going on in the tropics. You can go to hurricanes.gov for that information, or if you want something that's a little more North Carolina centric, you can go to weather.gov/raw/tropical and get the same information there. Taking a look at the following week, we're covering the period here through August 19th, but let's take a look a little bit beyond that. What's in the cards for the following week, the week of the 20th to the 26th? Well, the Climate Prediction Center came out with their 8 to 14 day outlooks. These were made yesterday, and you can see the temperature outlook is starting to see some blues appear in there, starting to see some suggestions of, below normal temperatures. Now, don't interpret this graphic to mean the temperatures are going to be significantly below normal. All this is saying is that there's a slightly better chance than not that we will see temperatures that are at or below normal. Now, normal this time of year is in the mid to upper 80s. So, temperatures can still be dangerously hot during the afternoon hours, but at least according to the Climate Prediction Center's forecast, the odds are shaping up a little bit more favorably for below normal temperatures in the 8 to 14 day period. And when we take a look at the graphic on the right, you can see in terms of precipitation outlook, the odds are favored a little bit more toward above average precip chances. So at least in the 8 to 14 day period, slight tendency toward below normal temperatures and a slight tendency toward above normal precipitation. So we will see how that shakes out. That's what we're looking for week 2. So to bring it all to close here, typical summertime weather pattern is really going to prevail across the area. Daily shower and thunderstorm chances. The next 72 hours in particular could be active at times. Then there'll be actually a slight drying trend as we get through Sunday into early next week. But again, don't be mistaken. We're not talking about significant drying. You're not going to go outside and say it feels comfortable out here and, the dew points aren't going to crash or anything like that. But, maybe it'll knock our rainfall chances back for a brief period of time. But it will come back by the middle of next week as we once again look at some pretty sticky, moist air moving into the area. But with those showers and thunderstorms that we are expecting, locally heavy rain is, all but certain with these guys. Brief periods of gusty winds, lightning, not too uncommon for this time of year. And like I'd shown a few slides ago, there is some activity in the tropics, but fortunately nothing is imminent in the forecast for central North Carolina.